The first time I rang John, the agent, he's like, right, what time are you playing at? You're on like 10 to 11. Not playing 10 to 11.
Now that was a club, let me tell you, Shelley's in Stoke.
You play 3 to 4 if you want, but the club will be shut for 4 hours. You know what I mean?
The licensing laws have been mentioned. Okay, Colin, can you? Were they ever an issue? Because we used to go at 9 o'clock every night, and the place was bouncing, and that was just normal. But when you were looking in Mixmag every month, and you saw Cream midnight to 7, and you saw Heaven in London, and you saw Gatecrasher, and you thought all these places are staying up much later than we are, and people probably aren't going out till 12 or 1 o'clock, and you're coming in at 9 p.m. and the place is full. Was that ever an issue when you were trying to book people?
It was the first couple of times I tried to book people. The same with John when you'd ring up, the agency. And we always had 2 or 3 Ds because I was trying to do the whole, trying to be like Cream and Renaissance, and because clubs in Ireland had done it before. Col Hamilton, 1 guest, or whatever. It wasn't fun, so I was trying to have me 3 guests in one night. So Dave Seaman, John Cecchini, and Quiver, or whatever the case would be. Guy on, the first time I rang John, the agent, he's like, right, what time are you playing at? You're on like 10 to 11. Not playing 10 to 11. And no one goes out. It's not even open at 10 o'clock. Then no, we're open at 9. You'll be fine. No, I'm not doing it 10 to 11. I want to play 3 to 4. Well, you play 3 to 4 if you want, but the club will be shut for 4 hours. You know what I mean? So
if you were going to a club for 4 or 5 hours, Lush still had its 4 or 5 hours, but it had it from 7 o'clock till 1 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
It's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing, isn't it? And to be fair, the UK was a bit like that as well. Going back to Shelley's in Stoke, where I first started as well, people used to be there at 10 o'clock, and when the doors opened, there was a massive queue out the door, and then as soon as they got through the door, straight on the dance floor. By 20 past 10, it might as well have been 1 o'clock at other clubs.
Yeah.
So it was just a cultural thing, and so when he was trying to book people, and you see this time, you think, well, that ain't going to work. But until they got there, and then they realised that actually by 10 o'clock, that's most other clubs.
Now that was a club, let me tell you, Shelley's in Stoke.
Well, that's what helped the atmosphere, and know that, because it wasn't just Lush. Everywhere back in the days, there's an interesting story. Funny, back in the days, we had to finish at 1:30 a.m. and when we got offered the first Essential Mix in '97, they were like, you need to be open to 2. The Essential Mix goes from 12 to 2. And then we only run to 1:30. Can you do it 11:30 to 1:30? No chance. It needs to open to 2.
Last half an hour's silence on the
So
radio.
we had to go to the local council and the police and say, listen lads, we've been offered BBC Radio 1 Essential Mix. It's the biggest thing that's ever going to happen in this area. Millions of people listen to it. And the council were like, 2 a.m? Ooh, I don't know about that. we had to have a council meeting to vote on it, and only that. Because we got into the council's ears and go, lads, it's Radio 1, BBC, so that's how we got the extended license. But originally they were gonna turn it down because we only opened at 1:30. But the upside of that, as you say, at 9 o'clock there's 1,000 people in the queue.
Yeah. It was just different. I mean, I remember going to Mykonos one time, first time in Greece, arriving at 3 o'clock. There was nobody there. I thought, this is going to be a bad night. 4 o'clock, they all turned up.
In the morning, 4 a.m.
Just different ways people were, and obviously we were used to going out early, and especially if people are used to going out and being straight out there at 9 o'clock and getting going, then it didn't really.
And the
matter
good
what
thing
time
with Lush, and any club in Northern Ireland, not just Lush, but because everybody arrived at 9 and left at 2 a.m, it was like a family. If you go to Renaissance or the Cross or Ministry, you could leave at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m, 5 a.m. So you come 6 a.m, the club's half empty. Every night in Lush at 2 a.m, the club was rammed. No one left, so everybody left. Just had that feeling of...
Yeah, I would say there was something to be said for leaving everybody wanting more on a high at the end of the night, and not... Because a lot of clubs in the UK especially were looking for those late licences, and they got them. And Cole's right, sometimes it kind of petered away a little bit, that last hour.
I remember getting a 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. set at the Ministry of Sound. What do you do with that?
Well, you go to bed first.
Yeah. What do you do with that? You can imagine the mess. It just wasn't cool. Yeah. And yet you question Lush from 8 o'clock till 1.
Well, I have to say that some places you can do sets at that time, and it can be amazing. It can be their peak time. It really just depends where you are in the world and what they're used to. I mean, Argentina so they don't even eat until midnight. They don't even go out until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Culture,
so your main slot is like that kind of time. So. It was just how it was over here, and it was condensed into very, very intense. 9 o'clock open, 10 o'clock absolutely packed and rammed, 4 hours of mental craziness, and then everybody left on a high. I mean, it was a bit of a perfect storm in that respect.
I mean, I'd never thought about it, I guess, until we interviewed one of the guys who went. And, you know, we always complained about the licensing laws because you used to look at all the 6 and 7 a.m. finishes and think, you know, I wish we had those. And one of the guys actually said to me, I think it actually did us a favour because it meant everybody went out early and everybody came at the same time and left at the same time. And that meant that for that 4 or 5 hours, it was just this
harmony.
It was just this pent-up energy. It was just...
And that's why everybody got to know. That's why everyone's mates. And that's why we're sitting now, 25 years later, doing this interview. I've been to 10 weddings that people met in Lush and got. You wouldn't get that at Minister Sound. Where you go to Minister Sound, you know, some nights in London, you're on 11 to 12 and I'm on 4 to 6. You wouldn't even see each other because the time I got there, you'd have been left and vice versa. Whereas Lush was like a family, a whole experience, and we were all in it together. So definitely, as much as it was a hindrance,
it condensed it into a very smaller period, which everybody was a part of, rather than it being, because spread it out and it can actually filter away.
It can dilute, can't it?